Greetings, ladies and gentle players. It is Friday, April 2nd, 2021, making it a wonderful day for basics. Or at least it normally would be, but by the title of this video, some of you are probably confused. And that's because we are addressing the elephant in the room today. Yep. I've been wanting to do this for a while, but truthfully, I've been kind of afraid to. A lot of you know full well my hesitancy towards the AI, the bleep bloops as I call them. But, despite my hesitancy, AI is in fact everywhere. It's on Fox, where you can look at 9 Dawn AI and 10 Dawn AI bots playing against humans, to their basic implementation of AI review, where you can request certain moves getting reviewed by an AI, fine art I do believe in this case. It's on TaiGem, which for reasons that will forever escape me, allow you to use AI in exchange for a little something something during your games. Never understand that one, but it's there too. It's on OGS, where you can either play against bots, or at the end of your game, have a bot give a cursory review of your game to highlight, I think it's 3 moves where you have either gone awry or just have questions about. To the varied clients you can download onto your hard drive and thus get score and win rates on the games you have just played instantly reviewed. In fact, there are so many different places where you can implement AI into your own games, and so many servers that are implementing AI into their features that it can be confusing where to go to get a good AI review, let alone how to use it. And that's pretty much the goal of this video today. I kind of want to highlight some easy ways for you to bring AI into your own games and use it, because I know a lot of you do. I know some of even my patrons do it because they send me games that have been marked by AI for me to review at the end of the month. So I know a lot of y'all are using it, but there's a lot of questions. Where to go to use it, how to use it effectively, what kind of questions should you have when you are going over a game with AI, and all of that good stuff. But again, this is a video that I've been sitting on for quite some time now, because it's going to be a heavily opinion piece, as you can imagine, and it's going to take some time to answer all of these questions. For a while there, I've just been kind of putting it off. However, when the kind folks at AISensei.com went ahead and reached out for sponsoring videos this month, I thought, you know what? I've been wanting to do a video on AI for a while. I've got a sponsor for the set. It's definitely time to go ahead and start talking about these things now. Now, if at any point you like what you see, and maybe you even want to use AI Sensei for yourself, do me a favor. I have a link down below in the description or in the comments somewhere over there for my link to AI Sensei. Go ahead, if you're going to sign up or purchase their service for yourself, do use that link instead to help out the channel. That said, before we even sit down and contemplate where we're going to get our AI reviewing from, we have to know what we're asking. One of the largest mistakes people I've seen, like either on Twitch or let's just say elsewhere, make when they're going to get a game reviewed, even if it's by a human, is they don't have questions they want to have answered. Because the last thing that you want to do is be like, all right, I'm going to have a game reviewed. And you get a game reviewed, and there's like 30 different things that are wrong with that game. Now, it's really, really hard to keep like 30 different corrections in mind on what you want to work on next game, right? You played the game, you know what questions, or at least you should know what questions you have about the game. You should focus on those and then maybe any huge ones that pop up later. Here's what I mean by that. Let's take a look at a game I have right here between me and a 7-dan. Now, some of you who are more astute know one of the reasons why I selected this as one of my examples. But yeah, all right, cool. I'm getting invaded at the 3-3. Everything's looking pretty Joseki-ish. One of the main questions that I had in this game versus 7-dan is, one, I chose an old variation where I dropped down and went for influence. How big a hit did I take when I decided to do that? Is that just absolutely terrible? Did that crater my chances to win at all? That's question number one that I have. Question number two, my opponent with Sensei attached to my star point here, and I responded with a Hane. But I remember in the game, I wasn't sure. I was like, do I want to go with the Hane here? Do I want to, do I want to go with the Hane on the outside? Maybe just backing off with something nice and solid would be the right idea here. So I chose this one. Was that a good choice? Was it not? If it wasn't, what was better? And let's see if we can figure out why that move was better. So those are now two questions that I have that I'd like answered. Continuing on, we got into a fight here. I thought the fight went decently well for me, but again, maybe I'm wrong. So I'm going to want to look for any huge dips in win percentage, for example, during this particular fight, and see if there were perhaps more efficient alternatives. Or conversely, if what I played down in here was just so terrible, if this is just a losing game and I'm just kind of spinning my wheels. So despite the fact this game continues to go on and on and on, those are pretty much, and the upper right guys, I don't care. Those are pretty much the questions that I would have about this game that I would like to have answered. Now, again, other things might come up, and we'll be looking out for those. But those other things, for us to really look at them, they have to be drastic changes in win percentages. I want to stick with just my questions, unless there's something really, really huge that pops up. And you'll see in a minute why it's important to have that mindset going into a review. So let's go ahead and take this and put it in AI Sensei for right now, and have some of those questions answered. Right, so I've uploaded the game to AI Sensei. As you can see here, it took a few minutes to go ahead and scroll through the game, and it's got a lot of information here. Let's go ahead and parse through some of it. Now, it doesn't know, obviously, what color I was, so it doesn't know what questions I have. It's just going to review the whole thing, right? Obviously. As a result, you can see that there are some red marks here. These are the mistakes that it found in the game, and there's a handy dandy little red arrow that you can use to jump through to mistake to mistake. Now, the first thing that I would like to do is to go to the questions that I specifically have and answer those before looking at anything else. So what we're going to do is kind of just scroll through the game here. Where was it? Oh, almost. We're going to go through and scroll through the game here until we get to this move. Now, fascinatingly enough, it doesn't like this one. It says I've lost 0.5 points by playing this, and it recommends something else like A instead. Like playing over here, I mean, why not? It's Sensei. It's going to give me a larger thing here. The minute I click it, you can see it's doing the immediate play out as to how it expects the game to progress from here. And it even gives you the information that it views Catago, for example. Pause you, thank you. It's giving you what Catago expects the game to continue like from here. But that's where people really, really, really make mistakes when using AI. Because remember, when we started this, I said, mistake, 0.5 points by not playing something else. Half a point mistake. To an AI, half a point, I mean, that's just a mistake. You know, you're losing out by however much. And people really get hung up on every mistake, and then they use the AI to look over every single one, and there's no way on this planet that you can keep all of those mistakes in mind at the same time. Unless by some miracle, you recognize they all have the same overarching principle that linked all of those together, which is almost never going to be the case. So, okay, 0.5% here. I don't care. Let's continue. That's a mistake, but it's not a mistake that I have to worry about unless I am a professional 9-dan and I'm trying to take out Shinjin So. I mean, when I get to that level, I'll start considering 0.5 mistakes. Until then, I am not concerned with them, and I heavily recommend you not be concerned with them either. In fact, we've got this little scrolly bar here where we can actively look for mistakes over a certain point value. And that is amazing. We're going to look at this more in a minute. But that is absolutely amazing because then we can filter out all of these teeny tiny ones that we don't even have to care about. We can look at them because they're kind of cute, but it's at the end of the day, it's not really going to affect my playing. It's not going to affect anyone who's like, you know what? It's not even going to affect Shinjin So's playing. To be fair, he doesn't play on that level where 0.5 this early on matters at all either. So continuing on, I wanted to drop down. And apparently AI says that it's okay. Found the AI move. Great. Apparently I'm allowed to do this. Poggers. I thought it was going to yell at me because I wasn't doing like some kind of where I wasn't trying to do some sort of drawback here, for example. But if I was to do that, live analysis, current move being recognized, we would probably see something like this one. And then we have to figure out like a complicated way to actually to actually make profit here. That's gonna be kind of difficult, huh? Like if we just connect, for example, then we're losing points here again. AI is not overly pleased. We could play this recommend, but we're losing points there too. We could attach here and try, something a bit more complicated. But again, we're kind of just like taking a losing battle where everything that we play is just like, I mean, you can do it, but you ain't gonna like it at the end of the day. So that's really good to see. Like we can go through variations and see if we're like winning or losing points, and if so, by how much. So great feature to have on AI Sensei, let me tell you. Go ahead and close the trial board there. So it liked what we did here. Cool. Next question we had, right? Next question we had was this attachment. Attachment AI didn't like. So okay. Didn't like White's AI White's little attachment here, but did it like our response was our next question. And apparently it did like the Hane over here. I was overthinking. Oops, live analysis. I was overthinking whether or not to play here, but we're going to lose more points this way. We can see what's going to happen here. I guess we would probably have to Atari here, and it would connect. And then I would probably either play at C or at A. But if this happens, then yeah, you can see that it's opening up like a plethora of really bad options here, right? White's just gonna live immediately. That's not what I was going for at all. I wouldn't like that result. And the AI says we're losing points that way too. So another reason not to like that result very much. So cool, we can stick with what we liked. We played this one. AI was like, hey, that's fascinating. I liked it too. Cool. But that's where we get into problems. Apparently it wanted something a little bit different. So we can go over here and instead be like, well, all right. Let's see what's preferred here. Let's go to the trial board. And it wanted either to extend back Hane again or Atari. Yeah, I was worried about the Atari. And I for the life of me, I don't know why right now. AI wants to go ahead and make this exchange first, it looks like. Wants me to make this little exchange here, where I force this to live first. I mean, it is a forcing move, right? So why not? Why not? Then, apparently, because I've strengthened myself here, I could take a more complicated fight. Interesting. Definitely playable. Definitely interesting. But again, these are little things, and I don't want to get hung up on like little one-pointers. If it said that this was like, I don't know, a 5-point mistake or something, then you'd have my attention. But since it doesn't seem to be, we don't have to care. We don't have to care. So since I mentioned just now that I'm not interested in mistakes that aren't over 5 points, for example, I've gone ahead and I moved this little slider to mistakes over 5 points. And I could do it for black or white, but it's fine to have both right now. And immediately we find this one, which I confess I knew was on the board. Because the turn here is a lot better instead. By playing here, I should go ahead and turn because it's probably recognizing that I can Hane here, and this is dead. It's not playing it out, but yeah, this corner is dead. If actually, I can show you in the actual game what happens real fast. Yeah, here we Hane. He went ahead and Tiger Mouth. You Hane again. He responds, and then you've got the throw in, and now there's no way for this to live. This is just dead. This is just dead. So because we have the turn here, way back when we were looking at this one, the AI is like, hey dude, that pushing move here is gonna be like really good for white. Why aren't you taking this away instead? And forcing your opponent to, you know, not be dead. You get to develop this for free, and then you can go back and do whatever you want. So yeah, you're right. But white could have played here and ignored me and continued to make sure, you know, he's not dead. So that was a little bit of a mistake. Forcing moves first makes sense. Now, interesting enough, I filtered this for black's mistakes that are over 5 points. And you can see they have disappeared. A lot of them have disappeared over here until we get to whatever this little guy is. Yeah, it wanted me to save my 2 stones. At this point, I'm just trying to be nice and safe because, I mean, the top is not doing so well right now. And I've got the Sensei turn at the bottom. At this point, I just liked where we were in the game, and I wasn't really terribly concerned. I was looking to just kind of shore up the problems that I had in just get it over with, just end the game. And as you can see, by this going better and better for me up until we end with like some kind of 60+ lead here. Sorry, 68. Most of this is okay. I'm not seeing anything too glaring. Not seeing anything terribly glaring here. Except that it still really wants me to play here and not on top of the board. We can briefly see what it expects us to do here. Yeah, that one I admit I missed. There was an obvious cut there. No, yeah, you're right. The top is not as large as that. That is an interesting thing to look after. I did miss this one. Yeah, because he can't play here because I could go ahead and push and cut straight through there. Yep. I missed a tactical thing in the middle of the board. That is a well-found mistake that I played, that I did. I tend to miss a lot of these in my games, like the really obvious ones that you could probably set a 5Q down and they'd find it. Because at some point, you just stop looking for those really obvious mistakes. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, that last game was done via the pro account that I currently have right now, which is about 10,000 playouts with about 18 moves per variation. Let's go ahead and trim it down a bit, and let's see what this next game tells us with, let's say, their basic one, which is only $6 a month, with 10 moves for play, or 10 move variations for about 500 playouts. Now, just like last time, we want to start off with having questions that we want answers to right off the bat. Now, this game, I'm not sure if I mentioned, this game and last game I was against 7 Dons. This game I wanted to mention, or I wanted to have a review of simply because it opens up with him taking not just one, but both 3 points, giving me influence. And anytime, and this is unfortunately very, very common nowadays, but anytime my opponent does that, I kind of worry about what kind of position I'm in. Am I actually doing okay in the game? Is it even? Am I ahead? Should I have done something different? Is there like a glaring spike in my mistakes when I'm handling these positions? And I kind of want to look at those. In particular, he played this one, and I ignored him. I want to make sure that that's okay. I'm pretty certain responding locally is a bad idea, courtesy of the Legend 88 series that I remember. So I think it's better to keep expanding and not answering this, but I want to know if that's true. He went ahead and poked me. I did not connect. I want to make sure that's not a glaring mistake. And I think lastly, this whole attack over here seemed more complicated than I feel it should have been. So my questions here are there simpler moves that I could have played? Did I miss something obvious to just kind of deal with the fact that, you know, this stone's kind of just hanging out there. These stones are doing who knows whatever they're doing. Like, was the Hane better? I went for the cut here. Maybe ignoring it would have been better because he doesn't really have much territory still, just corner, and whatever this is. So that's a cool thing to have answered. But overall, I was happy this game. Should I not have been? So we come over here to AI Sensei, where I've gone ahead and reviewed it with the basic service that they have, which I think is probably the most common one people go ahead and sign up for, because it's pretty much this price of a Twitch sub for all intents and purposes. It remembered that I'm only looking for mistakes over 5 points, which is good. I think probably this is my favorite feature of AI Sensei, without a doubt. Because I've put things up in Katago, and there's the graph and there's fluctuations or whatever, but there's no easy filtering of the point value moves by, or the mistake by point value, rather. That is really, really nice. And I don't think any other service has something as easy as just clicking on these mistakes and then seeing what you should have done from there. We can also see that there seems to be larger mistakes made in this game. I know the ending was, I threw the ending completely. Quick backstory. This left-hand side died because he refused. He kind of refused counting here, and I was in Bioyomi. I didn't know what to do, so I played something stupid, and he got to kill something he shouldn't have. It wasn't fun. It wasn't a fun day. But all right, let's look at our mistakes that we had questions of. We got to here. And so far, we're doing okay. AI says nothing terrible, no terrible mistakes here, as expected. We're just playing 2 Joseki. He played here, and was our next move a good one or not? Apparently same as the AI move, Pog. So I played away because I thought this was not a good thing to do, but I wasn't certain, so it's good to have it reviewed. Is playing locally too terrible? In fact, let's go back to that, bring out a trial board since they do live analysis nowadays, and let's say I played C. All right, so we lose a little bit. Here, but it might not be the end of the world. The unfortunate part of this is we might lose Sente and take an enclosure away. So the thought behind why we played away seems like it's an okay one, you know? And the last thing that you'd want to do here, for example, is I'm going to play a bad move here, is allow him to over concentrate you. Because you see now we're losing more and more points here. And I'll give you another one. We could keep doing this too. It's going to hate me completely for this. Sorry, AI Sensei. But you can see that we're just losing more and more points here as we keep responding to the thing that doesn't make like any sense. And now from here, it's technically not that upset with what we did, but consider we have no territory here, and he's now strengthened himself. Like, that's not something that we would actually want to see, right? So we played away, the AI agreed, let's continue onwards. Ooh, this one it didn't like. A little bit different. It probably wanted me to peep. Let's go ahead and double check. We could go and bring out the trial board here. And apparently it didn't want me to attach. Oh, yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. It contemplated this one instead. That makes sense. Another disconnect without actually touching the stone. Okay. That's a little thing that might be worth noting. That might be worth noting. It's also saying you've got shape here. You could also just as easily just play away. It's not a problem. You take a 0.6 hit, but yeah, the follow-up is also pretty strong. Okay, cool. Apparently, I'm finding the AI move more than I thought I would, which is kind of awkward for me, let me tell you. This one it didn't like so much, 1.3. Not the end of the world. I don't particularly care about that. But let's see what it recommends. Oh, the connection here, or just the extend, because of the Hane at the head of 2 and 3 stones. Yeah, that fits too. We could go ahead and play here into here. And then we could just go and try and take all that out. I mean, sure, that's a reasonable variation. Cool, pog. All right, for white's mistakes over 5 points, we've got this one, because I should have played the Hane to create cutting points. Yeah, I know, but we were on basic, man. We weren't trying to continue fighting. But yeah, there's clearly weaknesses here, and black's shape is, in a word, disgusting. So that makes sense. Made a 16-point one here. That one catches my attention. Oh, I know why. Yep, because my stones are dead the minute he plays here. So yeah, I played here. So I thought I was killing these, right? But the AI is like, hey, you should maybe consider playing this one first. Max out them liberties, you know? And then, yeah, then defend this little guy. Right? Then you can go back and kill things if you'd like. That'd be pretty cool, you know? That'd be pretty cool, you know? Because, yeah, you can't kill over here. You can't kill over here. But, as you're going to see, in the game, when he plays here... Wait, what? Wait, I'm dead though, right? Wait, you want me to play this one? Nani? Alright, now I'm learning something. Oh, to give up the outside. Okay, I see. Yeah. Okay, that confused me for a minute. I'm like, wait, I'm gonna be dead here. Why would I play here? Yeah, because this one into... Yeah, alright. That makes sense. Yeah, he'd have to kill me. And now I'm not getting rid of all of the stones, only these ones. Okay. That makes for a better result. So this right here, with the whole 25-point mistake that I made, that one really jumps out, and there's a nice tactical thing to learn there. I like it. And then here, we're not going to talk about ever again. So things we learned from this review. 1, my handling of the opening and his double 3-3 was fine. Can I shift click this? I can. Approaching here was fantastic. I split this, and I'm still in a pretty decent result. But we made huge, big O bad move when I did not seek to cut my losses, or when I actually, and this is hilarious to happen on basics, when I went for a kill I could not take, I needed to look after my group instead. We needed to pay attention to our connections here. If he wants to go back here and live, go ahead and let him, and don't die in the middle of the board like a moron. So once again, you know the drill. We've got the game opened while I've uploaded it to AI Sensei, and it's doing its whole analyzing thing. Doing the thing that it does. Oh, you can also see I'm not cheating and taking the most interesting games. I've gone over 2 so far. This is the 3rd, and I've literally only have 3 on here right now, okay? So I'm just like picking out games that I remember from the games that I've played recently. Kind of similar how you'd probably do it. So this game I remember vaguely. This was when I was a 6 Dan, and I haven't ranked up to 7 Dan yet, which Dwyrin is 7 Dan right now, so ha ha ha. Long time ago. Once again, Chinese. I like mainly Chinese. I don't care. I always will. What were the questions that I had here? I thought this was reasonably okay. It's not going to like my opening, though, because it hates frameworks. I mean, AI just doesn't like frameworks. That's all there is to it. Like, I guarantee you right now, this is a mistake that is going to point out. Like, that's just going to be a thing. What questions did I have on this game, though? Oh, right, the invasion here. I think this was okay, but we'll see. Ah, right, yeah. I wanted to know if I could get away with a surround here. I thought I could, but I was afraid of the shape that I was making. So we'll see what the AI thinks about this particular area. That's one of my questions. What else? Oh, right, yeah, this cutting here. This went a little bit weird, but I thought it was fairly okay because he's got weak groups. I'm okay. I don't think there's anything wrong here, but we will see. I defended here. Was that a bad move? Or should I have gone ahead and played here? Or tried to like do something else before doing that to eat and surround the stones? So a couple of questions in this area. Definitely a couple of questions in this area. Because as you can see, this went really, really complicated. Right. This area didn't go as well for me as I thought it was going to. Was there something here I missed? Yeah. Because I don't like the fact that I gave up those stones. And then I think this went back to live. I'm pretty sure it's going to recommend a forcing move over in here in order to kill it off. Because this thing should not have lived, and it did, which made me sad. And I think that sums up our questions here. Now, I would be remiss if I did not point out that essentially everything that I just did can be found with the quiz button to test your knowledge of this game's mistakes. It's, again, one of the features on AI Sensei, but I prefer doing it on a board where I don't see this already in play, where this is not already a thing. So once again, mistakes over 5 points, and we're interested in black, not white. So boop, like that. And let's see what it likes. It's like, found the AI move. Congratulations, a 4 point. 0.3. It wanted me to 3-3, right? Just for giggles, let's look at this. And this is also why it's great to have this filtering by 5 points. That way, when this thing tells you that the 3-3 is better, either the 3-3 or the enclosure and not the approach, you can pretty much ignore it. I mean, come on. It's not that bad. Like, I approached and it said, well, you lost 0.3 points on that one, sir. I don't know how you're gonna keep progressing your game. Like, dude, it doesn't matter. All right, so I played here. Hey, 0.4, never mind. I thought it was gonna be worse than that one. Holy crap. All right, so white's ahead. A little bit. Not the end of the world. He approached, we backed off. So on this board, you can see here, the game is even. The game is still even, despite the fact that I'm making a framework and I'm just like going ham on it, right? So, okay. This board, AI's like, yeah, about even. What were my other questions? I had a question on the top side. Right. Ooh, no, middle side. I had a question over in here. Does it want me to enclose here? Trial board? Talk to me. It does! Oh, interesting. Huh. Okay. Okay. So I could try it. And then it has to start, like, attaching to all the things in an effort to not be dead. So it looks like that was pretty safe. There, into there. Yeah, there's a little bit of a cut here. A little bit of a cut here. But it seems okay. A little bit of a fight. But I could have taken it if I wanted to, which is why it doesn't like that so much. Alright, so now we get to the top of the board. Where you remember, my next question was, did I handle the top of the board correctly? Because these stones seem like they're not doing so great, and there's some complication here. So I played here, and it was not happy. It wants me to play here instead. Okay. And then get enough liberties to go back. Now, granted, this was where having a longer playout would be more useful, but I can see, via the trial board, for example, that we can still take a peek at what comes next. We can go play A. If he cuts it this one, we can just go ahead and connect because we've got Mii, right? If he goes through here, we could go through here. And yeah, if he connects, yeah, he'd be in trouble. He can't connect that one out. So he's got to go and play this one to try not to die. And then connect there. And then the top's just going to be alive. The top is going to be absolutely fine. There's even still stuff up here we could do. Or we could even just take an easy connection on back. If he tries to kill us, we can see that there are a whole lot of different things we can do up here. Such as just connect on over top like so, kill off those. Yeah, seems fine. Seems fine. Okay, okay. Anything else here that went wrong? Okay, AI moves. We're both playing AI moves. He made a mistake. That is the AI move, really. Okay. So my stones were just gonna... Oh, A, right. Yeah, I'm a smooth brain. Because if you put... Yeah, he can't put its variation, can he? I missed a very obvious move. I know not why. I know not why I missed that. But yeah. He can't play this way, can he? Yeah. That Hane he can't play either. He can't play that Hane either. Because like there's the Atari here. Into the connection, into the throw-in, into the take, into the Atari, into the connection, into a kill. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff there that he can't play. Yeah, I missed that one for some reason. I'm going to blame Bioyomi. So instead I played here and I was unhappy. Go away. Yeah, instead I played here and I was unhappy because I lost stones. Yep. Another mistake. I figured it. Yeah, play here instead to make sure this can't make eyes. Because, yeah, this is dead. All right. Figured. And now it looks like, yeah, it's just getting too complicated over here. All right, so that wasn't terrible. Want to go over some key points here. When using AI, remember, we want to have questions established beforehand. If you're using a service like AI Sensei, which I'm recommending, if nothing else, but then for the lovely little slider that can just scoop out the moves that don't matter, like the 0.5 ones that are quote-unquote mistakes, or 0.3. I mean, that thing was getting really specific. Like, we can just ignore those, set them for 5-point mistakes, 10-point mistakes, DDKs, maybe even 20, 15, 20-point mistakes, and like focus on those. That's great, along with getting our questions answered. So I absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. There are a lot of ways to use AI in your games. This is but just a few that I wanted to highlight and give some examples of throughout the course of this month. Thanks once again to AI Sensei for sponsoring. I will be featuring the review via AI Sensei in some of my basics and Murder Monday videos. That way I can kind of reinforce the best practices on how to use a service or an AI like this to get the most information out of your games without being bogged down by trying to like fix every single tiny little mistake that it picks up, and like that can overwhelm you easy. That can overwhelm you easy. So definitely be on the lookout this month for that coming into my videos. Hope you guys enjoy that. If you like what you see this month via AI Sensei and you want to give it a try and sign up, make sure you use my personal link. Link is down below. It'll help out the channel if you go ahead and do that. I admit I was uncertain as to what my opinion of these AI services was going to be, but I can definitely see their value with some of the tools that they are implementing into their service. And then, of course, there's just the fact that not everyone has a beefy machine. For example, I mean, like I do. I've got a really strong processor. I've got a Ryzen 9 3900X, and I've coupled with it a RTX 2080 Super. So that's a lot of hardware for my content creation. So I can pretty much download any of the AI engines and use them pretty easy. But I mean, if your computer is 5-10 years old, maybe it's just not rocking latest hardware, especially with the prices nowadays on CPUs, GPUs, and power supplies. Maybe you play on laptops, tablets, mobile when you do play Go. I mean, these things, you definitely want a service that can provide the horsepower that can get your games reviewed, rather than risk having your own hardware catch fire in the attempt. So a lot of great reasons to use. If you use my link down below. I'll be back as per usual with a very, very special, this is